So today we are going through NEBOSH International Diploma, Unit IA, Element IA1, Principles of Health and Safety Management. So first of all, we are going to study reasons for effective management of health and safety. So basically here we can identify three main reasons. So those three are legal, moral and economic. So these are the three main reasons. So now let's get started with the moral reason. So employer owes a duty of reasonable care to his and her employees. Number two is society accepts employers to ensure the health and safety of their workforce. So this is one of the most important ones. Then it is unacceptable to place employees in a situation where their health and safety is at risk. So this boils down to the employer. So it is his responsibility and it is unacceptable to him that if he places the employees in a dangerous situation. So the number two is legal reasons. So there are three types of legal reasons: preventive, punitive and compensatory. So as the name says, preventive, so enforcement notices come into the play, so which are issued by the enforcement inspectors who are working for local enforcement agencies. Next thing is the punitive. So as the name suggests, criminal courts impose fines and imprisonment for breaches of legal duties. And number three is compensatory. Employees are able to sue in the civil courts for compensation. Next we have the economic reasons. Insurance will cover some of the cost. So not all things are insured. So those are the costs which are insured are accidents and ill health, such as compensation, claims from employees, damage to motor vehicles. Other costs cannot be insured against. So these are the cost which can't be insured by any insurance company. So these are fines for criminal prosecution, loss of highly trained or experienced staff, effect of employee morale, and the resulting reduction in productivity. So this is one of the most important points. So if it comes in exam, you should emphasize on this point, that no insurance company can guarantee employees' morale and their productivity. Bad publicity leading to loss of contracts and or orders. So if you get a bad publicity, then there will be a loss of contract and orders. Organizations can find it very difficult to fully quantify cost of accidents for a variety of reasons. The company may lack resources, expertise and time, lack understanding that cost exists and miss them entirely, suffer from non-reporting and so be unaware, not knowing the full cost for a long time, ongoing civil cases, compensation claims and effect of loss of goodwill. So next we have societal factors which influence an organization's health and safety priorities. So this question most of the times comes in exam. So there are certain societal factors which influence health and safety standards. So the number one are government policy. So these who work tend to be healthier than those who are unemployed. Improving workers' health will help keep people at work who can then contribute to society. So government makes the policy such that they make sure that workers who are working inside a workplace must be safe. So the next thing we have are globalization. So this is also an important factor. Businesses that operate across the world may adopt different standards depending on the requirement of the host country. So it doesn't matter if the country has health and safety which is different in India, that it should carry that Indian health and safety policy into the UAE. So even though this company is an international company, but it has to adhere the health and safety protocols of the other country in which it is working. So globalization is also a good point. Next thing we have is CSR, corporate social responsibility. So these are the voluntary actions that business can take to address not only their own needs but also those of wider societies. So these are the plans which help make through which companies make roads, schools, they conduct training, seminars. So these all comes under corporate social responsibility. So next thing we have is the risk profile. Higher risk activities demand greater standard than of lower risk activities. So for example, if you are working in an office, so your risk profile will be lower than if you are working in an oil and gas field on the rig floor. So risk profile also comes under societal factors. So if I am I don't need a hard top, helmet or gloves if I am working in office, but if I am working on rig floor, then there will be pressure from me that I will get a proper overall. Next thing we have is the incapacity and sickness level. The portion of the worker age population on incapacity benefit is much higher today than in 1970s. So nowadays there are a lot of people who can't work, so the age population is in incapacity of benefits. Next we have the migrant workers. In recent years, immigration policy have increased the portion of migrant workers. So if somebody is migrating from USA to UAE, then he or she will expect that they will get the same health and safety standard as they are getting in the USA. So this brings a positive pressure on the company. Next thing we have is the economic climate. So that is one of the most truest factor, which is that wealthy countries can afford to give occupational health and safety as a higher priority. Next thing we have is the societal expectations of equality. Health and safety standards and priorities can be determined by changes in society's expectations of equality. So it doesn't mean that if somebody is coming from USA, he will get more health and safety as compared to the person who is already the national of the country. So society expectation will be higher. So if a company is hiring a foreigner, then they need to give health and safety standards same as to him than to his all other workers. So that is also a very big factor. So then I have written all them so that you can easily memorize them. Government policy, globalization, CSR, risk profile, incapacity and sickness level, migrant workers, economic climates and social expectations of equality. Next thing we have is the uses of and the reasons for introducing health and safety management system. So basically first we will study that all management systems have some common elements. So these are plan, do, check, act. So what is planning? Implies having a considered policy. In do, the arrangements for putting the plan into the place. The check means it is necessary to access or monitor performance, and in the act section means performance should be reviewed by leading to continuous improvement in the management system. Okay, so these are the common elements which each and every health and safety management system should have. So you should memorize plan, do, check, act. So now we have the health and safety management models. So this is also an important question. Most organizations have management system for one or more aspects of management. In relation to safety, two good sources of advice are OHSAS 1801-2007. So next thing we have is the Occupational Health and Safety Management System Requirements and the UK HSE publication HSG65 Managing for Health and Safety. So these are the two most important management models. A characteristic of these management models is that they view the organization as a system with inputs, internal process and output. So why these management systems are important are good? Because they have input, internal process, then output. So this point is also a very important point. So here is the PDS cycle: plan, do, check, act. In plan we have policy and planning. In do we have risk profiling, organizing and implementing your plan. In check we will measure the performance. How we will measure the performance? By investigating incident and accident and near misses reports. In act we will review the performance and we will learn the lessons. So what we will do in the plan, what we want to achieve, who will be responsible for what, how you will achieve your aims and how you will measure success. In do, identify your risk profile, organize your activities to deliver your plan. In check, measure your performance, assess how well the risks are being controlled, and investigate the causes of accidents, incidents or near misses. In act, review your performance and take actions on lessons learned, including from audit inspections. So next we have is the application of PDCA cycle. Okay, so the plan, do, check, act cycle achieves a balance between the system and behavioral aspects of management and treats health and safety as an integral part of good management rather than as a standalone system. The cycle starts with a planning process to control risk, which is implemented through risk assessment, checked by measuring performance and reviewed so that action is taken to improve. So this is the application of PDCA cycle. Reasons for introducing health and safety management system. This is also an important question. It comes in exams. Reasons for introducing health and safety management system. So the first line that you should write is that management system models offer a framework. So this is the most important point, framework. Management system models offer a framework for management to focus on in order to manage health and safety. The following are the key issues that require a health and safety management system to deliver: appropriate allocation of resources, appropriate allocation of responsibility, setting and monitoring performance standards, feedback and implementation of corrective actions. A simple justification for introducing health and safety management is to improve the business through better health and safety performance, which will reduce cost from accidents and incidents; greater awareness of legal requirements, which will reduce the chances of committing an offense; improved relation and morale as employees see that their health and safety is being looked after; improved image and positive PR for publicity; responsible attitude towards employee; greater business efficiency; reduced insurance premium; greater confidence from banks and investors by showing more effective risk management system. So next we have is the principles and content of effective health and safety management system. So it sets the whole framework of the safety management system and should demonstrate commitment, frame the company vision on health and safety, state the overall health and safety objective of the organization, express commitment to improve health and safety performance, be authorized by top management, commit the organization to compliance with legislation, be communicating to all employees and other interested parties, be kept up to date by periodic review. Next we have is the communication of health and safety information. Communicates. What does it communicates? The company's approach to managing health and safety, the organization's commitment to health and safety to existing employees, and it can be used in the induction of new employees, to involve workplace representatives in writing and amending the policy when necessary, at regular briefing session to communicate information relating to different sections of the policy. So next we have the requirement for a written policy. Okay, so a health and safety may be required by national legislation in some regions. In some regions, written health and safety policy is required, even if it is not legally required. It is required by ILO OSH 2001, which supports ILO Convention, and OHSAS 1801. So a written health policy is a must, even if it is not required by the local law. By the ILO Convention 2001 and OHSS 18001, which is required. General policy and objectives of health and safety document. The principle of health and safety document is that it is set out what needs to be done. So what are the principle and objectives? What needs to be done? Who needs to do it? How it is going to be achieved? The policy is therefore usually made of a statement of intent. So the statement of intent is very important. So it sets out aims and objectives of the organization regarding health and safety. So what it does, it sets out aim and objectives. Statement of intent, aims and objectives. An organization structure that details the people with health and safety responsibilities and their duties, the system and procedures in place to manage the risk. Practical objectives might include. So now we're coming to the practical objectives. So what are we studying? General principle and objectives. So these were the general principle and objectives. Now the system produces. So now we have the practical objectives. So supporting human resource development, minimizing the financial loss which arise from the avoidable and unplanned events, recognizing that incidents, ill health, and accidents result from failing in management control and are not necessarily the fault of individual employees. Recognizing that the development of a culture supporting of health and safety is necessary to achieve adequate control over risk, ensuring a systematic approach to the identification of risk and allocations of resources to control them, supporting quality initiatives aimed at continuous improvement. So now let me explain it again. General principles and objectives. So all these boil down to number one. You can see that the main all the objectives and principles are plan, do, check, act, and they also they also add moral, legal, and economic reasons. Okay, here you can see that principle and objectives, they basically includes the PDCA cycle and moral, legal, and economic reasons. Okay, but you need to write them in this way. Okay, so now we have the key elements of health and safety management system. So these are the key elements that you need to simply memorize. So ILO's 2001 guidelines on occupational health and safety management system, the elements of this system are as follow. So what are those systems? POP, IEAC. So I have written this so that you can easily memorize them in the sequence. POP, IEAC. POP, IEAC. So what is P? Policy, organizing, planning and implementation, evaluation, action for improvement, and continual improvement. So basically here you can see that it also follows the PDCA cycle: plan, do, check, act. But here the key elements are policy, organizing, planning and implementation, evaluation, action for improvement, and continual improvement. So basically here we have the principles and objectives, but here we have the elements. So you need to understand the differences. So what are the elements? POP, IEAC, and these are the principles, and these are the objectives. So principles are these: what needs to be done, who needs to do it. So these are the principles, and these are the objectives, and these are the elements. So don't get confused. So you need to memorize them. Basically, if you understand them, still you might mix them up. So basically study them very hard and memorize them, cram them basically. So the basic elements are very simple, similar to OHSAS 18001. It is intended that the safety management system should be compatible with or integrated into other management system within the organization. So this is also important point. Safety management system should be compatible or integrated in other management system. So your company might have other management system, but your health and safety management system should also be integrated to it. Next thing we have is the OHSAS 18001-2007 Occupational Health and Safety Management System requirements. So the 18001 requires an organization to determine its existing health and safety activities and to develop programs and system that focus on elimination of risk to staff and other parties. So these are the requirements. So these processes are then developed into management system that primarily aims to ensure that the health and safety performance is continuously monitored. So the elements of the system are exactly the same, but we have like different things here, but basically these are the POP, IEAC. So the occupational health and safety policy, planning, implementation and operation, checking and corrective action, management review, continual improvement. So next thing we have, this is the most important thing, and sometimes questions comes from this, which is benefits and limitations of integration of quality environment and management system. So here we will study their benefits and limitations. So integrated management system for organizations wishing to have control over more than one aspect of risk management, safety, environment and quality. It may be possible to implement an integrated management system rather than individual systems. Though it makes sense in theory, implementing an integrated management system is not an easy task. There is variety of factors to be taken in account. So next we have the benefits. So arguments in favor of an integration of management system include: it is more cost effective, avoidance of duplication, improvements in one system are more likely to carry over to other system, including a positive safety culture. So these are the 3 points that you need to memorize if the question comes for the benefits of integration. Okay, next thing we have is the disadvantages of integration include possibly increased bureaucracy, creation of unnecessary change, relevant staff may require more training. Okay, and that's it guys. So the element 1 of unit IA is done. So hope you guys you study hard, and see you guys in the next video. And don't forget to follow your book. So this was just an overview. Don't forget to follow the book, and please do subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next video.